The following is an encore presentation of MoneyWise.
In the old days, it was easy to spot a subscription or membership you no longer needed or wanted. A magazine or package from the Jelly of the Month Club would come in the mail, and you'd think, why in the world did I order that? But these days, it's much harder to spot unwanted subscriptions because they're software, apps, or other services. Our host, Rob West, has 4 steps to slash those automatic debits from your checking account. And then we'll take your calls later in the program at 800-525-7000. 800-525-7000. He's Rob West. I'm Steve Moore, and this is MoneyWise. So, Rob, I guess this has happened to everyone with subscriptions. You were excited about model trains or maybe urban farming at first, but halfway through the year, the chicken dies, you lose interest, and unread issues and subscriptions pile up on the coffee table. Right?
Yes. But with real paper magazines, they start begging you to renew in the last few months. The things we're talking about today, Steve, apps and other services, are just debited automatically from your checking account, and you may not be paying attention. Or you're aware of the debit, but not really thinking that you haven't used the service much and you should probably cancel. The Wall Street Journal recently had an article about this with a great illustration. A woman signed up for an electronic fax service. She paid $15 a month for 3 years before realizing that she'd used the service only twice in that whole time. She'd paid a total of $540 and determined she could have bought 20 rolls of fax paper or 10 actual fax machines for that amount of money. Needless to say, she canceled the service.
A fax service today, huh? Okay. And this is really the state of things today. With everything online, it's easy to sign up for something you thought you needed at the moment, then you realize you don't need it, you don't use it, and you don't realize really how much it's costing.
Well, that's exactly right. It's a fantastic business model for businesses, not you. And more companies are moving toward this model all the time. Subscription razor blades and other shaving supplies is now a $1 billion industry. Yep. It's not just about video and music streaming services these days. You can get a subscription with automatic debit for just about anything. One report showed that the average American is debited $237 a month for subscription services. You might think, well, that's not me. But are you really keeping track? The report also showed that 85% of us underestimate how much we're paying every month for these things.
Why is this happening?
Well, obviously, it's because we're not paying attention, but also because it's so easy for businesses to set this up because of the internet and computerization, and that makes it easy for us to sign up. Here's one way it happens, Steve. You see something you like, you sign up for a free trial, you know this well, but in order to get it, you have to give a credit or debit card number. Well, the fine print says you'll start being charged when the free trial runs out, but you can cancel at any time. Of course, they're hoping you'll forget about it, and you probably do. And that becomes yet another automatic debit from your checking.
So how do we stop the madness, Rob?
Well, this would be funny if it weren't so serious. There are now services to help you root out and stop unwanted services. Trim and Truebill, to name a few. They'll monitor your transactions for recurring charges, but then you have one more outside company with access to all of your banking information, and you may not want that, but there is a better way.
Oh, boy. Services to help me stop unwanted services. A little bit of irony there. All right, so you've got some steps to help us. What's first?
I sure do. Obviously, you need to take inventory. Log into your credit card and bank accounts and start looking for recurring transactions. Make a list of them to be absolutely certain you found everything. You'll probably have to go back a year because some of these charges could be annual.
Okay, got it. Making a list, checking it twice. What's next?
Well, speaking of twice, look over that list and see if you can spot any double recurring charges, something happening twice in a month. You and your spouse may both have Netflix accounts, things like that. Obviously, you don't need both.
Exactly. Okay, then what?
Then the fun part, cancel, cancel, cancel. Get rid of anything you don't want. Now, don't be surprised, though, if the cancel button is hard to find on the service's website. They probably won't make it easy for you. You may have to hunt around.
Generally, it's in mice type. You can't see it, or it's grayed out almost, sort of, kind of, and you're not sure and you don't see it. All right, one step left. What's that?
Well, repeat. Put a recurring reminder in your smartphone or use Google Calendar to make a reminder to check your accounts once a month. It'll take a few minutes, but rooting out and stopping these recurring charges is well worth the time.
Well, you've rooted out MoneyWise today. He's Rob West. I'm Steve Moore. We're taking your questions at 800-525-7000.
Buying a home is the largest, most nerve-wracking purchase most of us ever make. It doesn't help that you're entering a maze of unfamiliar words and confusing options that can leave you intimidated, frustrated, and afraid you've been taken advantage of. Navigating the Mortgage Maze by Dale Vermillion helps you clear up the confusion, unrack your nerves, and make the best mortgage decisions possible with confidence. Navigating the Mortgage Maze, available when you click the store button at moneywise.org.
Our friends at Sound Mind Investing have been helping Christians reach their financial goals since 1990 with step-by-step guidance for investors just getting started, making choices in a 401k, or getting ready for retirement, all grounded in God's Word. The SMI slogan is Financial Wisdom for Living Well. More information is available online at soundmindinvesting.org. The SMI website also includes articles about common money management and investing topics. soundmindinvesting.org.
Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio. Hey, Paul, welcome to the program, sir.
So I have a question about the Social Security because I'm 61 and a half. I have a pension, and I still work, but I just keep thinking that I should take the Social Security as soon as I can and just save the money and invest it and be that much ahead of what I would, get when I start to collect it, 66 and 8 months, I think. And I just keep going back and forth on, I know a lot of people say not to wait, but I just think, man, that's a lot of money to turn down, not knowing when I'm going to pass on, or my wife even. You know what I mean?
Well, that's exactly right. And it's something to think about. I mean, obviously, what factors into that is just simply the amount you're giving up and finding that break-even point, and then comparing that to your health and life expectancy. And none of us know the day or time the Lord will return, let alone when we'll go home to be with him. And so I think you've got to do that math. You've got to pray through it and make a decision. Ultimately, what it comes down to is, what is the point at which you will offset the amount you've given up by delaying, and then enjoy that higher check for the rest of your life. There's simple math to find this number. Basically, you take the lower annual benefit, you multiply it by the extra years of benefits, and then you divide by the difference between the higher and the lower. Now, I know that sounds complicated. So let's say, for example, if your benefits at 67 would have been $18,000 a year, you get a 30% reduction for claiming it at 62, which would leave you with about $12,500. So you're getting $5,400 less per year than you would have if you'd waited. Now, the 5 extra years of benefits gets you $63,000. So you divide that by your this amount, the $5,400, and you find out it's going to take you 11 years and 8 months. Now, you might say, Rob, I'm not following you on the math. Well, here's the bottom line. For that person who takes it at 62 versus 67, it's going to take almost 12 years to get to the place where you've made back in extra earnings the amount you've given up by the years you delayed. And then beyond that 12-year mark, you're now enjoying a higher check every month. Well, then the question is, well, how do I know if I'm going to live 12 years? Well, you don't. Now, one of the things working in your favor is that once you reach age 65, life expectancy increases. So once you reach age 65, a man in the United States today will live on average to 84. A woman turning 65 can expect to live on average to about 86 or 87. That's just the way longevity works on the averages. So if you put all of that into the equation, you factor that against whether you need the money now, the fact that that's going to reduce your lifestyle potentially by not taking it now. What about your giving and your goals and all of those things? And you just have to weigh all of those factors and then make that decision. But starting with the math and figuring out how many years until I reach that break-even point is really a key part of this equation, Paul.
Okay. And one more question I had. In the first year that you start to collect your Social Security, I'm understanding that you can earn up to $45,000 in 2019 or 2020, or do they still cut you off at the $19,000 if you start collecting?
Yeah, that's a good question. So in 2019, the numbers are 17,640 that you can earn before full retirement age. Now, once you reach full retirement age, you can earn as much as you want. But above that 17,600, you'll have $1 deducted from your payment for every $2 that you earn that exceeds the limit. And that was a $600 increase over last year's limit of just over 17,000. So that's the number you're looking at if you want to start collecting before full retirement age and you want to continue working and you have earned income.
Paul, we hope that helps you. Great questions, and just pray through this with your wife and ask the Lord what he would have you do. None of us knows all those answers, but obviously God does. Thanks. Fort Myers, Florida. Shelley, what's on your mind today? How can we help you?
Hi, guys.
Hi.
I'm in a pickle.
All right.
I am 52 years old and disabled on SSI. It took me many years to get that, and I survived on credit card. And then my health turned worse, so now I have about $8,000 in credit card debt, and probably $1,000 I owe the IRS, and I own a 2000 Toyota Camry. That's all I own. No assets other than that or money, and I survive on $730 a month and just rent a room. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, Shelley, I'm sorry to hear about your health situation that led to these financial problems. I know clearly by you calling today, you want to honor the Lord and you want to find a path forward that allows you to be a good steward of what you have. Remember, Paul said we need to learn to live with however much or however little, learn to be content, live within God's provision, and we can use his principles to do that. And it doesn't mean it's going to be easy, and you certainly are experiencing that. Let me ask you about this credit card debt. Are you current on it in your current plan? Are you paying the minimums every month?
Not at all.
Okay.
I haven't even looked at it for probably 3 years and really wasn't able to, health-wise.
Yeah. And do you have the ability now? I realize you're on a fixed income and every dollar matters, but do you think you have the ability to start making payments on this? If you were to, for instance, connect with our friends at Christian Credit Counselors and they were to negotiate a monthly payment that you could begin making, is there any margin there?
It would be pretty hard.
Yeah. Sure. No, I understand.
My rent's $400 a month, and my car insurance is $100.
Yeah.
My phone's $50, and the internet is $50, and then that takes about the $730.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I think the key for you right now is just to continue to ask the Lord to provide, recognize He is your provider, not the government, not anybody. Also, make your needs known to the body of Christ. And let's see who might rally around you to help be a blessing, be the hands and feet of Christ in your life during what has been a very difficult season. We'll pray for you. We'll ask our community to be praying for you. And thanks for your call today.
We will indeed. Thank you very much, Shelley. And we're here to take your calls on MoneyWise at 800-525-7000. And in case you haven't heard, our call-in number never sleeps. If you can't call in during the program, call back whenever it's convenient, 800-525-7000. That's the number, and it works 24/7 as long as we continue to pay the bill, including weekends and holidays. Just leave your name, your number, and briefly tell us your question. We'll call you back and get you on the very next program. This is MoneyWise, and we'll leave the recording light on for you. We'll be right back.
Three things are open 24/7 for sure: ATMs, all-night gas stations, and the MoneyWise call-in line. You can leave a question for us anytime at 800-525-7000. Lines jam up during the show, but don't let that stop you. Call us whenever. We'd love to hear from you, and we use as many questions as we can. So call whenever it's convenient for you, 800-525-7000. But don't ask for Steve Moore's home number. I got in trouble for that last time.
Do you feel like your hands are tied with debt, preventing you from serving God? If you have credit card debt, Christian credit counselors can help. Through our debt management program, we can get you out of credit card debt about 80% faster while honoring your debt in full. For more information on how Christian credit counselors can help, visit ChristianCreditCounselors.org. That's ChristianCreditCounselors.org, or call 800-557-1985. 800-557-1985.
Let's go right back to our phones. West Palm Beach, Florida. Jim, what's your question, sir?
I'm 70 and a half. I retired, and I just found out that my pension plan, if I die, goes back into the pension plan because I don't, and I didn't realize that. So I don't know I have about 50,000 in a 401k, and then say 109,000 in that pension plan. So I'm trying to find out what kind of vehicle to put it in. I think maybe I'd want to get a monthly disbursement. I don't know how many years to do it. I don't know how to make the money last the longest. And then I would want it to go to my family if something happens to me in between. And then also I'm concerned about commissions because I've talked to a couple of people, and I don't understand the commissions on these. If you've already made a choice, why you keep paying that every year. But maybe that's too many questions in one. I don't know.
Well, I think the bottom line, Jim, is we need to get some more information here so you understand exactly what you have and then what your options are. Are they giving you the option with the pension to take a lump sum or to take a payout in a monthly payout for the rest of your life?
Yes, they would. Yep. And supposedly it's for life. Yeah.
Yeah. And have you seen the difference between the amount they'd give you as a lump sum versus the monthly amount?
Well, the lump sum would be minus the taxes, I guess. And then I have the 401k, which is separate from that.
Okay. And so what we need to do is really compare that and look at what they're offering you in the form of a monthly payout for the rest of your life and look at the equivalent rate of return you would have to achieve on the lump sum to generate that, recognizing that you're going to be assuming the risk if you take that in a lump sum fashion. But if the amount you can achieve is reasonable based on you investing it, in fact, you have the potential to earn more, and you have the access to the funds, so you have more flexibility if you need access to that capital for any reason, an unexpected event, a medical event, anything like that. Obviously, it gives you more flexibility by having access to the principal, but you're assuming the risk of having to invest it and achieve a certain rate of return that would be equivalent to that monthly payout that would be added to your other income. And then we need to do some retirement planning to say, say, okay, based on this pension, based on the Social Security income, based on what you have in your 401k, and also based on your lifestyle, your expenses in retirement once you stop working, where are you at? And what changes need to be made? Do you need to downsize your lifestyle because you don't have enough there? Do you have plenty, but you need to think about things like long-term care insurance, which could offset a risk that could be perhaps the greatest expense that you could see during that season of life? All of this will be considered in some retirement planning. So that's what I'm going to suggest is your next step, because there's too many moving parts and unanswered questions for us to give you a specific recommendation here in just a couple of minutes on the radio. But if you sit down with somebody, you could pay them just for their time, not an ongoing engagement, to look over and assess your full situation. I think you'd really find some peace of mind and some value in that process. The way to do that is just go to our website at moneywise.org, click on Find a CKA, find a certified Kingdom advisor, put in your zip code, and there in West Palm Beach, there's a number of them, and you'd be looking for a financial planner that can do specifically some retirement planning for you and help you analyze all of these options.
Jim, thank you very much. We're glad you called today. Orlando, Florida. And Steve, what's your situation? You have a Roth question, huh?
Yes, sir. Hey, thank you guys for taking my call. So
Yes.
I'm 51 years old, and I retired from the military back in 2013. I've been working part-time. So for a few years, I was a student for a year, and then I've been working part-time, and then 1 year I didn't work at all. Currently, since I retired from the military, I've been receiving pension from there as well as rental property. And I just was reading something recently that I should have not been contributing to my Roth IRA. And I was wondering what's my steps that I need to do for the year that I did not work a full-time job or receiving earned income.
Yeah. Well, once those years pass, you can't catch up with a Roth. So the key is that you contribute or as many years as you possibly can, so long as your income is below the max, and it sounds like it will be, and recognizing, as you just acknowledged, you can only contribute up to the maximum contribution, but you have to make sure you have at least that much in the way of earned income for that particular year. And if you do, then you can obviously make that contribution. For somebody who's under 50, it's 6,000. Over 50, it's 7,000 this year. And as long as you have the earned income up to that amount, you can obviously make that contribution. Unfortunately, you wouldn't be able to go back and contribute for prior years where you had not made contributions. So then we look at, okay, what are other opportunities for you to save for the long term? We obviously want to do that in a tax-deferred environment when possible. So if you have access to another retirement plan, like a company-sponsored plan or something like that, you could save there alongside the Roth IRA. I think the key is keep your lifestyle in check, make sure you have your emergency savings, make sure debt is under control, you're giving, and then just try to save 10 to 15% at a minimum toward the longer term. And if you can save more, that would be even better since you're playing some catch-up.
Yeah, so I've been doing all the things that you just you mentioned. You've been doing all that. What I've been doing in the years I did not work, I still contribute to my Roth IRA. And so, and I believe that I should have not contributed to my Roth IRA because it wasn't working.
I see. Yes. Okay. I would visit with your tax preparer on that just to find out how to approach that. But if you over contribute, you'll have to pay a penalty for excess contribution, and you'll want to go ahead and do that. So if you don't have a CPA who can help you navigate that, you can find one on our website at moneywiselive.org. Just look for a certified Kingdom advisor there in Orlando in the tax and accounting area, and just let them know I made a contribution to a Roth. I didn't have earned income. I want to acknowledge that and do whatever I need to do to make that right, and they'll help you navigate that with the IRS. Shouldn't be a big deal, and I think the key is that you get on top of it now and don't delay.
Steve, we hope that helps you, sir, and we're glad that you called today. Thanks very, very much. And Jay, I'm not sure we're going to be able to get you on the program today, but if you'll stay on the line, we'll talk to you a bit off air. We do appreciate your call. Thanks very, very much. And hey, if you'd like to put God's work and principles to work in your own personal finances, let me suggest Ron Blue's book, Master Your Money. Ron helps you put into practice principles that will help you avoid common financial mistakes, and you'll find it available to purchase when you visit our website, moneywise.org. It's also where you can make a donation if you feel so inclined. Pray about that. And then if you'd like to give, just click the Donate tab at the top of the page. My thanks today to the folks in the front lines, Amy, Judy, Gabby T., and Rich R. For Rob West, I'm Steve Moore, hoping you'll join us again tomorrow.
MoneyWise is provided by MoneyWise Media and by listeners like you.